Tell you about something that happened to me in County Mayo. It was about 1994, and me and my two kids, we got the train to Westport from Ballyharness, which is about an hour away. And we just wanted to go shopping, look around the town. We'd been before, and it was a lovely town. It was actually voted the best town to live in by the Irish Times years later. But anyway, we got on the train, enjoyed the journey, plodding along, saying where we were going to go. The bookshop was always the first place we headed, and you get to know the ticket collectors along the way. You go up to Dublin or you're going the other way. You just get to know all the ticket collectors. There's like about probably, I don't know how many, but there's so few that you know them. But a few weeks ago, I'd been going to Dublin with a friend, and she was a little bit mischievous, and she was saying to me about one of the ticket collectors. He keeps looking at you. But really, he looked at everyone. He was shy, and he was a lovely man. So anyway, he wasn't on the train this day when we went to Westport. So we arrived there about lunchtime, and there was a taxi outside. And the town isn't far, but we just got in the taxi. And before he dropped us off in the town, he showed us where he lived, and he said, "When you're done with your shopping, just come up to the house when you're ready, and I'll take you back to the station." Oh, so that was great. So we went off into the town. First place we headed, of course, was a bookshop. Probably in there for about half an hour. Come out with bags full of books. And we've only just arrived and we can't wait to get home to start reading. So anyway, I also had a black leather briefcase with legal documents in that I was to meet with a solicitor that afternoon, just to look over them for me. So we walked around the town for a bit and then I called into the solicitor. I spent about half an hour with her, and then we went and had a meal, did a bit more shopping, and the bags were heavy. I remember the bags were heavy, so I decided to go to the taxi driver's house and just drop the stuff off. And because it was about an hour before the train, we went back into town, and we arranged to go back to him a little bit later. So we walked around a bit more, and then when we went back to the taxi driver, ready to go, he had all the stuff in the car, so that was great. We jumps in the taxi and we go to the station, and we go up on the platform. We've got our bags, and there's the lovely ticket collector on the steps, smiling and greeting everyone like he did. So I'm just about to climb on the train, and the way you take stock of things. I mean, we should have done it early, but I think we'd pushed the time for the train, and we were in a bit of a hurry. So just as I'm getting on the train, I'm glancing around the bags, and then my heart sank because I realised I'd left my black leather note case in the taxi driver's house. Now, I don't know how it had been separated from my stuff because it was all together. Maybe he'd taken it into his little lounge and he'd sat going through it, reading it, and forgot to put it back. But whatever the reason, it wasn't there. So there were about 3 trains a day. So if I'd waited for the next, if I'd gone back to the taxi driver's house, I'd have missed the train, waited for the next train. If there was one, it would have been hours away. So as I'm climbing the steps, I said to the ticket collector, "Oh gosh," I said, "I'm going to have to come back in the morning." I said, "I left my note case, a leather note case, at the taxi driver's house." And he said, "What did he look like?" And I said, "He had a beard." He said, "Don't you be worrying, you go and sit down there. Don't you be worrying." So we went down the aisle and sat on, the long seat that faces everybody. That's where we usually sat because there was 3 of us. And he got off the train, and I looked, and he was going into the ticket office. So people are starting to look, seeing what's happening because the train was due to go, and there's the ticket collector getting off the train and going into the office. So I'm kind of looking around, wondering what's going on. And when I look back again, it looks like he's looking through a thick phone book. So now people are starting to stare, and they're stretching their necks to see what he's doing. Why isn't the train going? Should have been gone by now. So next thing, he comes out of the ticket office, and he doesn't come onto the train. He turns right and he goes down some steps and out of sight. So I'm thinking, what's going on now? So you could see the road beyond, although you couldn't see where he went, you could see the road beyond the station with traffic passing. So he never came back. Like 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, we were all sat waiting. And then we saw a taxi driver pull up, the taxi driver who dropped us off. And then the ticket man appeared at the car. The ticket collector, sorry, appeared at the car and took my case out of the window. And I was absolutely stunned. I couldn't believe he'd done that. Got off the train and done that. So next thing, he comes up the steps onto the platform with my case under his arm and onto the train. And I can't remember whether he rang the bell or he pushed the button, you know. Anyway, the train started to move, and then he reappears in the doorway, walking down the train. And you know, I'll never forget the image. It was like the man, you know, the man with the milk tray you used to see in the adverts. He appears from nowhere with this box of milk tray. And that's what this ticket man was like. He walked down to the end, handed me the case and smiled. And I said, "What can you say?" "Thank you very much." And he said, "Not a problem." And he turned round and walked away. Well, it was just so surreal. I was gobsmacked. I couldn't speak. And I thought, imagine me going home and telling them all in England. The ticket collector got off the train and rang the taxi and went and waited on the road to get, so that I didn't have to go home without my case, so that I didn't have to come back the next day. Oh my goodness, I was just about stunned, absolutely stunned. So anyway, we headed off then and we got home, arrived at our station, got off the train, took the bags to the bench, made sure we had everything, and I watched as the train disappeared off on its way to Dublin. And I thought, my goodness, who would believe me really? That somebody would do that for you. I mean, you couldn't make it up, could you? But you know what? It can only happen in Ireland. So thanks for listening. Have you met any, what would you call them, heroes in your time? If you have, I'd love to know. Bye bye.